What's up, y'all? It's your girl saying we back for part 2. Let's go.
Whatever. You're talking about waiting for these individuals to commit a crime and then locking them up. In that case, a child has been abused. In my best case scenario, you are preventing that from happening in the first place. You're nipping it in the bud.
You have no evidence that it prevents it.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Okay.
What?
Yes, I do.
Evidence.
National Library of Medicine. Obstacles to help seeking for sexual offenders. Implications for prevention of sexual abuse. Persons with potentially harmful sexual interests, such as attraction to minors, are unlikely to seek or receive treatment before a sexual offense has been committed. The current study explored barriers to help seeking in a sample of nearly 400 individuals in treatment for sexual offending.
First off, the sample was only 372. That's not a big sample to be using this off of. All right.
Results revealed that the shame and secrecy resulting from stigma associated with pedophilic interest often prevented our respondents from seeking professional counseling.
Yeah, you have a lot of these that do that.
And only about
thing.
20% try to talk about their sexual interest prior to their arrest.
Did not say that it was going to stop sexual abuse. It said it's stopping them from getting therapy, as though therapy is absolutely going to help.
No, this is what I mean with bad faith. No,
that's not what
therapy does not
please.
Absolutely 100% help anything. Okay, I have
Well,
depression.
hang on.
I go to
Your
therapy.
study
It's
there
benefited.
is about them not seeking help, not about stopping them from actually doing it. That is
Do you
something
realize that
they're
if you seek
guessing
the
might
help and you're
happen.
in therapy, that significantly lowers your likelihood of offending?
Is there proof that it has?
I just
And I
read
won't
you
bring this
this
back. Wait,
part. I've cited the
mentioned this-
Germany thing, and I
The
brought up
Germany
that
thing.
if this...
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to discuss that.
Okay,
You
cool.
know that last year, Germany saw a 108% increase in sexual crimes and a 6.7% specifically in child abuse.
Yeah, that's fucking disgusting. How many people in that case were
108%?
actual pedophiles? How many of those
wait.
people had actually gone through the
The
treatment?
108% increase was of CP and child abuse combined.
Okay.
So you pointed to Germany. You point to Germany last year where they have this great therapy that works. 108%.
Wait, that's like the entire country of Germany. Yeah, okay. I'm
Oh,
talking about
yeah,
people that have gone through the specific treatments.
But the treatments over there, it's easier to get because they actually tell pedophiles come into therapy, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And so it's the therapy that helps over there, and
the people that have
108%
gone through that
increase.
therapy thus far have shown really positive results in lessening the likelihood of them committing these.
I think Hunter's missing what he's saying. He's saying the site that you're using, the study that you're using in Germany, that has all these great therapy treatment options that they're telling people to use and go get and blah, blah, blah. He's saying that child abuse and pedos and all that still went up 108% despite having all this access and having people feel free about going to get it and blah, blah, blah. It went up. How are they reading the same study and Hunter's like omitting that and he's saying like, oh, but they got help and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't change the fact that all these people got help, but that number still went up. It increased. It didn't decrease, it increased. That's the point that Ranting Monkey is making. Let's read this real quick though, because they didn't finish reading this. So it says, persons with potentially harmful sexual interests such as attraction to minors are unlikely to seek or receive treatment before a sexual offense has been committed. The current study explored barriers to help seeking in a sample of 372 individuals in treatment for sexual offending. That's not a large sample size, but we're going to use, this is Hunter's evidence. Results revealed that the shame and secrecy resulting from stigma associated with pedophilic interest often prevented our respondents from seeking professional counseling, and only about 20% tried to talk to anyone about their sexual interests prior to their arrest. Barriers to seeking and receiving psychological services included concerns about confidentiality, fears of social and legal consequences, personal shame or confusion about the problem, affordability, and challenges finding competent therapists who are adequately equipped to help them. Understanding and ultimately reducing obstacles to help seeking seeking can improve the quality of life for people with harmful sexual interests and potentially prevent sexual abuse of children or other vulnerable individuals. So he's saying if we fix the obstacles so these people could feel better. So he wants to destigmatize it because it says in here, it said the shame and secrecy resulting from stigma associated with it often prevented people from seeking professional counseling. Which I don't understand that at all because, like, I understand there's a stigma with being a pedophile. So you know it's wrong. That means all these people know that it's wrong. That's why that shame and secrecy is there, right? This other part, though, it says the barriers include concerns about confidentiality. Okay, well, if you haven't done anything, a therapist is going to be confidential. If you want to let pedophiles know that, or soon to be pedophiles, whatever Hunter's talking about, then just tell them that. If there's fears of social and legal consequences, there are none if you haven't done anything. The social consequence, nobody's going to want their kid around you, but for good reason. You mentally think about doing things with kids, so yeah. Nobody's going to want their kid around you. Legal consequences, on the other hand, which is what I was really referring to, there are none if you haven't done anything. There's no legal consequences for you having thoughts. Like, until you act, there's no legal consequences. So I don't even know why a legal consequence would be a fear. Sounds like somebody in this batch did something for that to be a thing. Personal shame because they know it's wrong, or confusion about the problem. I can see being confused on why you like that. But that also stems like you need to go talk to a therapist. Affordability and challenges finding competent therapist. Now, the affordability and the challenges finding a competent therapist part, that goes for everybody that wants to go to therapy. Most people can't afford therapy. So, like how Hunter brought up, like, therapy doesn't always work. I deal with depression and blah, blah, blah. And I go to therapy and it's only helped so much. Yeah, like most people, that costs. Usually therapy is like around $100 an hour starting out. If you can get lucky and find something like $50 to $75, but that's still money if you don't have that, right? And depending how bad it is, you might have to go more than once a week. You might have to be the person that goes 2 or 3 times a week. But that's outside of this issue. That's like an issue for everybody. That's why they created those little apps called BetterHelp and stuff, because they'll try to get you with people for like a couple bucks a month or session or whatever. And then the challenges in finding a competent therapist is also an issue with anybody going to therapy. You're never going to click with the first person you go to. I mean, if you do, you got lucky. I mean, that's just like when I was looking for a church, I found the right church off the first go, and talk about luck, right? Same thing for a therapist. So, yeah, people dealing with mental issues, period, also have that issue. So they're not special. That has nothing special to do with them. I think their whole issue is the confidentiality thing and the fear of the legal consequences. I feel like that's their whole issue. And no, we don't need to destigmatize those 2 aspects. We just don't. Like, that needs to be there. It needs to be there, okay? Legal consequences has to be there for you to feel that if you did something, right? The confidentiality thing also has to be there. If you didn't do anything, it's confidential. But it sounds like somebody in this batch did something, because that shouldn't even be a fear.
These atrocities.
Mm.
Like, you can bring up that Germany in general
that?
had an uptick in child abuse. That's fucking horrible. But again, my claim is that once sexual abuse, yes, a pedophile abusing children, that's fucking terrible. Once they have actually gone through the therapy and the treatment, that is what is showing to be promising thus far. I'm not saying that like Germany entirely is like a perfect bastion of, I don't know. I'm talking about specifically once you've gone through the therapy.
But you also just said therapy doesn't help
because you started with
everybody.
destigmatized so they can get into therapy. It's been destigmatized to get into therapy in Germany, and they have this massive increase.
You just asked me if the treatment helps or doesn't help. I said what
No,
happened
I
in
asked you if you
Germany.
had
They have
proof
something
of
in
it.
Germany. Yes. And I said, in Germany, they have a program that seems to be showing positive results. And then you said, yeah, but there's like a huge uptick in abuse across the country. And I
Yeah.
said,
Right.
yeah, that's terrible, and I want to see less of that. But how many of those people had actually been through the treatment?
Haven't they all been through the destigmatizing?
Bro, if it's being destigmatized enough for everybody to go into the program to get the help that they need, the numbers should not have went up. They should have went down. That's the point. That's
Thing though?
No.
Because isn't that your main point? Your main point is we have to destigmatize it so they get into therapy.
Okay,
so
we
that'll
need to
stop
go back
sexual
to
abuse.
square one. So first of all, people that actually abuse and molest children, there's a very high likelihood that those people are not actually pedophiles as much as they are sick, disgusting fucking freaks who
Actually,
abuse.
it's about 50%.
Okay, sure. So there's a large proportion of people who are abusing children that are not actually pedophiles. They are sexual abusers who take advantage of power dynamics. This is why I also brought up the FBI report, which indicated how a lot of the times child molesters will move on from that and then start molesting disabled people or old people because they're taking advantage of power dynamics. It's not like an actual attraction to children, per se. So there's that. Destigmatizing.
okay. Hold on. He just said. Let me just back it up to make sure I heard correctly before I even give my point.
Okay, sure. So there's a large proportion of people who are abusing children that are not actually pedophiles.
There's a large proportion of people abusing children that aren't actual pedophiles. Now, I thought he was going to say, like, people in terms of abuse, like, put their hands on children. I thought that's where that was going, but it didn't.
They are sexual abusers who take advantage of power dynamics.
So I thought he was going to go the route of these people put their hands on children. Nothing sexual. Nope, he said they're sexual abusers that are into power dynamics. And then they'll just do kids and all that. That still makes you a pedo if you do a kid, though. So it don't matter if you do kids and then move on to disabled and stuff like that. You're still a pedo, bro. You're still... Why are you trying to, like, classify each thing as being different from each other? You're still a pedo. Alright.
This is why I also brought up the FBI report, which indicated how a lot of the times child molesters will move on from that and then start molesting disabled people or old people because they're taking advantage of power dynamics. It's not like an actual attraction to children, per se. So there's that. Destigmatizing.
Which has what to do with the destigmatizing?
Because what we're talking about here is not destigmatizing child abuse or destigmatizing people that are abusing children. We're talking about destigmatizing people specifically who are actual pedophiles, who have this sexual attraction that they can't change. I'm talking about lowering the stigma enough so that they can adequately seek therapy.
Like they do in Germany.
Sure, like they do in Germany.
108%.
That's a correlation thing. You can't actually make any kind of an argument as far as the causal link. Do we know why there was such an uptick here?
I can absolutely argue that it's not working. Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry.
Wait. Hold on. You're literally saying, no, the entire country isn't perfect, so therefore it doesn't work.
Thank you, mischievously inanimate, for the donation. Thank you, Understatement, who says you're talking past each other. No one is saying that doing this is okay. Monk just wants the ultimate shame attached to it, while Hunter thinks the ultimate shame will just repress it and end poorly. Can you two talk about suppression versus transparency? We'll get to that in a second. Also, thank you, Understatement. Let me help Hunter here. Monk, how is it harmful to people to seek help versus to suppress it when usually suppression is the opposite way to go? Trying to find the disconnect.
I don't understand what you mean. I think that if you make it so it's more transparent, you're just making it so people are more comfortable with it, and the more comfortable you make people with it, the more it happens.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is this... Hold on. I'm looking over the thing in Germany right now.
Sure.
That both of y'all read, that apparently was the study you're using to support your case, but he read it and he said there's like more numbers. Is this the article you use, bro?
Okay. Okay. So these are not people that are like coming forward to seek out treatment. These are people running literal fucking pedophile like or child abuse rings. One of the largest child sex abuse investigations in recent years. They've been sentenced to 12 years in prison. Thousands of suspects are linked to the case.
Bro, you didn't read that article that fast. Didn't I tell y'all the very first video I did, which wasn't even this debate. It was like, I guess, before the debate. I told y'all in that video that he don't read his studies. He glosses, reads 1 or 2 sentences. He just did we watched him do a quick scan. It was like, oh yeah, this is about a child. Is it? How do you know that? How do you know this is even what Homeboy was talking about?
So you're talking about them busting open a child abuse ring?
No.
We're not talking about people who are attracted to children seeking therapy.
No, they didn't seek therapy, even though that you're over there.
Because these people are not. These people aren't pedophiles. They're child abusers who are running fucking child abuse rings, dude.
These are sexual assault. It's sexual assault and CP.
What we're experiencing now is a classical criminological phenomenon.
To children?
If you start, if they're looking at CP, then odds are they're a pedophile, and that would also be considered an offending pedophile, and they should be facing criminal charges for that.
So you're trying to argue that they're not.
Because I'm reading the giant online child abuse is on the rise in Germany. In one of the largest child sex abuse investigations in recent years, the main perpetrator has been sentenced to 12 years. Thousands of suspects are linked to the case.
Yes, and I also told you that 108% in all child crime and a 6% increase in child sexual abuse.
Okay, hold on here. I'm one of the. Hold on, I'm the type. I know
you can't just point to go. Oh my God, there was a guy with a sex ring.
Right,
they're getting raped over there, and you're like, we need to make it.
We here for a whole hour. Just read it, bro.
Okay, so now you're just back to being bad faith as fuck. But that's cute.
What does bad faith mean, bro? That's weird. You use that term, and you're not even religious anymore. So you shouldn't even believing in faith and all that to begin with. That shouldn't even be a term you're using. You're not religious. You're atheist. Talking about bad faith. Yeah, I'm gonna have bad faith with a pedo. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I never said that child rape needs to be destigmatized. If that's unironically what you think I've said,
I didn't mean to
maybe you
suggest that. I apologize. You want to destigmatize pedos specifically.
People that have not yet harmed children, I don't want them to feel such a significant shame that it deters them from seeking therapy. If already we know that that's happening here in America, why would you not want to lower the amount of shame associated with this to a reasonable and healthy level so that these people are more incentivized to get help? Your chat saying, "Look, I know the best way to help a wood chipper."
Why
that's
do you
not
keep
helping.
Going to the
you know that's
chat
actually
instead
adding.
Of talking with me.
You know that's actually
why the
adding
chat
to the
instead of me.
Because I'm explaining. I'm making a broader point that it's that type of behavior and attitude, that sentiment, that unironically
and you can't do that without implicating the chat.
That unironically,
you can't just make that fucking point.
Oh my God,
he can't because his argument is so weak. He has to insult the chat and try and get you mad to distract from the point. Also, real quick, thank you, Chaos1X. Fight, kiss. You can kiss while fighting, thank you. But yeah, no, he has to go to that to try and distract you.
Hold on, wait.
His argument style. I just learned it from his chat.
Oh, I am so glad I looked this up. The top investigator of the Germany thing does not believe that the recent large-scale cases in Germany point to a national problem or a recent trend. Instead, he believes it is a result of police investigating and uncovering more cases. But what we have to say is that the global problem online is extremely large, and we now have a global physical space online where criminals can network, share, and interact. They do not even know the language because you can always use translation software. Oh, I'm so glad.
Bro, did you listen to what you just said? Some guy doesn't believe the recent large-scale cases point to a national problem, recent trend. He believes it is the result of police investigating and uncovering more cases. That sounds like a problem. All right, whatever.
Glad I looked this up. Okay,
Germany,
great. No. I'm literally gonna.
Also, so far in this article, he keeps randomly scrolling through. Doesn't have the percentage points that they're talking about. So is this the article that they also read, which they said they got from him? Because he just Googled some stuff where he wasn't even sure if this was the right article or not.
I'm going to say this whether you shut the fuck up or not, and if I have to, I will literally just mute you.
Crime in Germany is not a German problem.
I will literally mute you, and so that I can say this to my channel.
Mute the
so
fuck out of me.
Again, what this is now demonstrated is that due to the
crime in Germany,
due to the internet,
is not a German problem.
This is what I mean. You are so dumb.
You're
actually no.
This makes sense.
Ranting Monkey, you are one of the most depraved, bad faith pieces of subhuman that I've actually talked to in a long fucking time.
I'm subhuman?
Yes, you are actually subhuman.
I'm subhuman.
For you to see this, what I just read, and say, "Oh, problem in Germany isn't a problem in Germany." Do you really think that's what I just said?
How does that make
Do you think
sense?
if they bust people
That's
in
like
Germany
saying
who
the
are
shootings in Chicago aren't a problem in Chicago?
No, because this is something online where there is a global network contributing to this.
In Germany? They found the people in Germany.
There were some people in Germany that were...
They're criminals in Germany that they caught, but it's not a German problem.
Some of them were...
It takes a village.
Some of them were in Germany, yes. And those people should face consequences. However, this large-scale busting of this thing is not a national problem. It is instead a result of global networks across the world where sick fucks exchange this kind of stuff. So if anything, Germany might need to have put more restrictions on their internet. This has nothing to do with the destigmatization thing.
Then none of these people would have been looking at CP.
This has nothing to do with the destigmatization thing. I'm so glad I looked this up because holy shit, man.
What do you mean you looked it up? You brought up Germany first. Wait, whose study is this? Because didn't Hunter say? Because he brought up Germany first, and he's like, "I'm glad you brought that up because I read what you gave me." Isn't he reading what he gave him and then whatever he looked up? Is this even the same thing? Are y'all even talking about the same study right now? See, now I gotta look this up. Okay, I think I found what Ranting Monkey was talking about, okay? We're gonna read this together. It says, German police have recorded a significant increase of depictions of sexual abuse against children last year compared to the year before. The country's top criminal police official has said more than 39,000 cases, or an increase of 100.8%, came to the attention of authorities last year, according to a special analysis of police crime statistics presented on Monday to reporters in Berlin. I think this is what Ranting Monkey read because this percentage wasn't in whatever Hunter brought up. I don't even know what he was reading. He was reading about some guy that got booked for having a child sex ring, which didn't sound like anything Monkey was talking about. I think Monkey was talking about this article. Okay, and it says those cases include the distribution, acquisition, possession, and production of depictions of sexual violence against children and teenagers. According to the report, known cases of child sexual abuse rose by 6.3% last year to more than 15,500. This is literally what Ranting Monkey was talking about. How Hunter, I don't know what article Hunter was reading. It had nothing to do with this. And it says the annual figures only cover the fraction of cases that police are aware of. The real figures are expected to be much higher. Authorities estimate that 1 to 2 students per school class in Germany are affected by sexual violence. Munich also said that more people are reporting suspicions of child abuse than in the past. Okay, so it sounds like they have a problem in Germany. Now, he claims Germany's doing studies, so he's like, are these people actually getting help? I'm scrolling through real quick to see if I can find it. They're still talking about it. Yeah, all I'm getting is that it went up. So, this is probably what Ranting Monkey read. Let's try to find whatever Hunter was talking about saying they're destigmatizing it. Okay, so I just found this article. It says how Germany treats pedophiles before they offend. So this has to be what Hunter is talking about. Okay, so we're going to start here. I read through it a little bit for you guys. Since 2011, this place where people can go to get help before they do anything, I guess, it's gradually developed into a nationwide network called Don't Offend. What started in Berlin has spread to 10 other cities, with more centers planned so that eventually the program will be easily accessible for anyone in Germany. This article is from 2015, by the way. There is a radical difference between the treatment offered to pedophiles in Germany and that in other countries. Strict patient-doctor confidentiality rules mean the men can be assured they will not be reported to the police. They would only be excluded from the program if there was an active prosecution against them. That sounds kind of crazy, because why do you need it to be that strict if you haven't done anything? That sounds like something done happened. And you're only excluded if you have an active prosecution against you. Alright, whatever. They said those who run the Dunkenfeld Center insist that the confidentiality clause is central to the unique project's success and also accounts for its popularity. According to the German legal code, therapists are forbidden from revealing anything that happens in the context of treatment. Okay. If people mention anything in therapy that can make them criminally culpable, they are protected. In other countries, that's not the case. That's why they make it clear they don't call the police. So this don't even mean you haven't done anything, because you could have technically done something and you tell them and they're not going to call anybody on you. You're protected. So this kind of breaks Hunter's argument, because like Ranting Monkey said, he was like, how do you know these people haven't done anything? Oh, because there's no police report on them. Right. But that doesn't mean they haven't done anything. And that's what we said in the beginning. And this, which if you destigmatize it so they can get help, which is cool that they want to get help, but they have that strict code of, hey, we're not going to tell nobody, we're not even going to tell the cops. And then to come in here and say, if you mention anything that can make you criminally culpable, you protected. That's why people are going there. Because even if they've done something, they're not going to jail for it. That's why this is a thing that has blown up and worked. Which, this is from 2015. That doesn't really say much, because we just read an article from, I think that was, what is this? This was from this is from earlier this year. And it rose. Like the actual sexual abuse rose. Okay, well, makes me wonder if Hunter even read this. It makes me wonder if he read this at all. But basically it goes on to say what they're allowed to talk about, which makes them feel comfortable, because usually you're not allowed to speak on things like this because people are scared, because the social stigma of it. Then it talks about the guy. This is a main article about a guy that's in one of these centers. It talks about how he started, how he got there. Okay, and this is what he says. This is also something that Hunter needs to understand. The guy touched on what could realistically be changed and what would stay the same. So the guy that they're interviewing, he says, that was a blow to know I couldn't be cured. But at the same time, there was relief to know it wasn't my fault. So basically, because they said there's like a lot of men in this program, to know you can't be cured. So you just always gonna have this. Yeah, there needs to be stigma. There still needs to be stigma for like you going to jail and all this other stuff. Because like if you're never gonna be cured, you're a threat at all times. It don't matter if you do this or not. If you do this for suppression, cool, but you're still a threat. Because all it takes is just one bad day. One bad day, and someone's kid is getting... Ugh. He said basically, yeah, it's just something to suppress it. He said he learned that he's responsible for his behavior. He learns that when he looks in the mirror, he doesn't say he's a monster. He says he's a pedophile, and that's okay as long as he doesn't do anything. But then he also says there's times, if someone says they can't control yourselves, that's just not true, which is not to say he didn't struggle. There were several times I wanted to stop because you're taking yourself apart and putting yourself back together again with the tools to cope, and it was incredibly scary. So they said of 440 pedophile patients they've treated so far, the average age is 37, and 71% are employed, 39% are in relationships, and 36% are the caregivers for one or more children. Ooh, that's messed up. They're almost always male. That's messed up. We have been contacted by 17 women in the last decade. Only one of these, what I say, had a pedophilic disorder. Why only one? What was wrong with the other 16? Why didn't you think the other 16 were, you know what? Perhaps surprisingly, the project has the strong backing of Germany's conservatives. The ruling Christian Democratic Party of Angela Merkel is highly supportive and pushing for health insurance to fund the therapy, which costs $5 million to $8 million a year in whatever their currency is. So far, financing has come from government and charitable grants. Okay, and how many people feel like they're better? They said the best protection for children would be for people with a pedophilic disposition not to become offenders in the first place, obviously. By its very nature, it is almost impossible to evaluate the project's success. While a pedophile who has participated might be asked if the treatment had prevented him from offending, any answer is likely to be highly subjective and possibly unreliable. To measure its success according to the number of recorded cases of child abuse is also problematic, as those rates are known to have gone up, if only because of the increasing number of abuse victims who feel prepared to come forward as the subject has become less taboo. So we don't know if this works or not. On like a statistic level, they can't even evaluate if it works. They said you can't trust their answers because they're pretty much protected from any type of criminal conduct, even if they did do something, as long as they didn't do something prior to coming in there that has a criminal case attached to it. So you can't take what they say. Their word is unreliable to these people who's treating them. And then you said you can't also measure success because the case numbers are going up, because now that's becoming less taboo. More people are coming forward saying they were abused. Well, you can tell Hunter didn't read this. If he even got down to this part, he keeps saying, oh, we can see that the therapy's working. This right here tells you that while these people are in therapy, the people treating them don't even trust their word if the person's telling them they feel cool or not. Imagine, we're going to use me as an example. I go in there and I'm like, oh, I have all these bad thoughts and I need help and I swear I haven't done anything yet. And they're treating me like the one guy said, I'm able to now look in the mirror. I'll be like, I'm not a monster. I can function. As long as I don't touch a kid, I'm good. And I literally say I don't touch a kid at all, right? I'm suppressing everything. I'm doing everything the therapy's telling me to do. And I come in there and I be like, I feel great. I haven't had any thoughts recently. I'm feeling good. In the back of their mind, they just like, we're going to take that with a grain of salt. I can't really believe that because, your answer is unreliable because you're a pedo. That's basically what this is saying. So this don't even... Hunter, this is a weird hill to die on, my man. This is a very weird hill to die on. Am I already 37 minutes in? Probably because I was researching stuff. Okay, y'all. And we only halfway through this. I went 37 minutes in, doing like 10 minutes. Alright, okay. We're gonna end it here. I'll be back for part 3.